Over the last several years, and over the last several Call of Duty titles that we have gotten, from games like Modern Warfare 2019 to Black Ops Cold War to Call of Duty Vanguard, and even to now with our newest entry in Modern Warfare 2 2022, I think we are starting to see truly what this franchise has turned into in terms of who it is that it's replicating in the gaming sphere. You saw the title and you read it correctly, and today's commentary video on Call of Duty is basically to explain why Call of Duty, in a way, has basically kind of turned itself into a version of what Fortnite is and was at the time when it was super popular. On top of this commentary, it is also followed up with a piece of news that we got yesterday morning regarding the new season that's coming to the game of Modern Warfare 2, which will probably be the last one we get before the game finishes its life cycle. Inside of the roadmap for Season 4, it basically is where this commentary comes from for why I wanted to make this video in the first place. So, jumping right into it, if you haven't seen already, the new season is going to be based off the Boys superhero show on Amazon Prime Video. A show, by the way, in which I'm currently watching myself right now, and I love dearly. I think it is a fantastic television show that you all should go and watch right now if you haven't yet. That's besides the point, though. The point of what I'm making here with this commentary is that if you notice something in this roadmap, there is a clear showcase of what the main focus was for this particular season. If it wasn't obvious enough already as it is, of course the bundles. You'll see here on screen, let's count it up with each other. So on the left side you have the Boys Operator bundles for Starlight, Homelander, and then Black Noir. That's 3. Those I can imagine are probably going to cost some money to purchase, probably $26 if I had to take a guess. Then on the right side you have another 6 bundles ranging from the Black Cell, Cyber Riot, Code Valkyrie, which in fairness is one that goes to the Call of Duty Endowment, which helps military veterans in need, and then you even have one that goes as far to basically let you play as a cat. So you can definitely tell that there is a definitive focus here on what they are trying to go for with this new season. In terms of actual content that you can do, there is a camo challenge that you can go for, although I will say the camos themselves don't really look all that good. They kind of look a little plain. The maps themselves, they get some updates with the Boys advertising. Multiplayer is going to get a new raid, which I'm not going to lie, I haven't heard that much about raids to the point where it's like, are the raids even that good? And then you have a new shotgun, which from the looks of it, it kind of looks like a mix of a KSG and an AA-12, and then the M1216 from Black Ops 2 combined into one, with, I assume we'll probably have a Brecci style like shooting where it's fully automatic. So, you know, that's pretty cool, I guess. It's a new gun, it's something new for people to use. Finally, then, you have a new multiplayer map as well. But again, as I said, there is a definitive clear focus here on what they are going for. Overall, I'm going to say this because I think it is important to note, but the actual event itself, I think, is really cool to basically make it around this show that is The Boys, which again is a very well-liked show that people love. However, again, I will say that there are some things to know from this. You have the operator bundles, which I think, in my personal opinion, when I look at this, and this ties into the title of this video and the main point of the commentary, but this might be the most Fortnite thing that Call of Duty has done so far, other than another thing that I'm actually going to mention here in a second in the later part of this video. If you've played Fortnite for long enough, you'll know that every now and then Fortnite does a big skin drop for a big well-known IP in the entertainment sphere. For example, one that they did at the very beginning of their stead at the time when the game was becoming popular was John Wick. And then at one point they did something for Superman, and then at one point they did something for Thanos and then Marvel as well in terms of all the characters of that IP. They've been able to do this basically every year since the game launched, and this right here is pretty much what Call of Duty is doing now. They take these big name IP characters from other franchises and bring them in their game as operators that you pay big amounts of money for. Now, granted, I will say this, Call of Duty doesn't do this as much as Fortnite does. I think Call of Duty has only done this with a few different IPs, something like Scream or something like Godzilla and Kong, but overall, they still do it, akin to what Fortnite does. And in terms of the actual amount of money that is spent, granted, in Fortnite, that is not the case, because Fortnite is a free game, and in that game, they don't really make you spend a whole lot to get these characters. But even then, I've always been someone who looks towards having the player want to play to earn these types of things versus just paying for them, to be able to let them actually experience the game and actually keep playing it for months and months on end. Yes, even my favorite game of all time, Black Ops 2, did that, but in fairness to that game, they were very cheap at the cost of like I think $3, and they were really well designed. The game itself already had a lot to back it up for being able to earn some stuff anyway, and again, they were cheap enough to where it felt like it wasn't asking you to pay so much to get them. Nowadays with Call of Duty, they ask you to pay an obscene amount of money for a character skin that you are not even going to be able to see on screen unless you are in the main menu. That is another advantage that I think a game like Fortnite has as to why they do it correctly. It's because when you're in the games, you can actually see the skin on screen because Fortnite is in third person. This is fundamentally, I think, one of the biggest flaws that Call of Duty seemed to have missed when they put out the memo that their franchise was going to be basically turning into Fortnite 2.0. For one, in this game, it is something that you pay for, and also everything is overpriced as compared to Fortnite, and again, you can't earn these things by playing the game. You just pay for them immediately. I'll also say this, it feels a little bit out of left field that The Boys in particular is one that they are going with, especially since there is no new season for the show coming out at the moment, even though season 4 has pretty much already been shot and done and they are waiting to release it at some point down the line in the future. It's not like they're promoting that in any way, and at the same time with another video game that's coming out in a few months in Mortal Kombat 1, they are already doing this. It kind of feels like Call of Duty saw that and they said to themselves, well, you know what, let's put that in our own game. The other thing is too, I wonder if they just said, well, hey, guess what? The Boys is coming out with a season 4, so let's make season 4 in our game based off The Boys because, hey, they're also doing season 4. I'm not really sure, to be honest, because again, I think the concept behind this event is cool. I just think everything around it makes no sense and is not being executed well from the looks of it. But again, overall, as we kind of look at this as a whole now, it just goes to show that I think this is simply the direction that Call of Duty wants to go down now. They want to make this game feel as monetizable as humanly possible, kind of like how Fortnite did it, only again, Fortnite did it way better. We saw a few years ago that Call of Duty did a Godzilla vs. Kong style event, which again, very much felt like something that you'd see in Fortnite considering it was a part of Warzone. On top of that, they released some Godzilla and Kong skins for you to buy, and again, it just felt like this was out of place in the franchise. Yeah, sure, I guess you could say it was cool at the time, but I just think that when you look back at it, it really was poorly executed, especially when we're talking about the actual in-game event in Warzone when you're playing. None of it felt like it was really well executed when they thought it out in the first place. And an event like this I think would feel so much more cooler if they incentivized you to get these operator bundles through actually playing the game and getting them through completing a very hard challenge where you're just doing something in the game that would force you to make it feel like you're really trying to earn it. I harp back to a game like Black Ops 3 as an example to compare for this. In that game you had these specialists, which were there were just many different kinds, and in those specialists you had to complete challenges by using each one in order to earn a better piece of looking gear through the body and also the head. Once you completed all that, you managed to unlock a really nice looking gold and sleek piece of armor for, again, all parts of your body. No matter what you might have thought about the specialists in that game, you cannot deny that it felt really awesome to have earned that after playing the game for so long. I think if the new games had taken the direction with that, especially with an event like this around the show and its characters, I think you'd be asking a lot of people to stick around and play a lot longer. But now all they have to do is just walk into the game, pay $26 worth of COD points, and they've bought all these bundles immediately. Nothing about that just feels authentic to me, especially when we are talking about the fact that it is insanely overcharged for being almost about half of the game's actual price. This is simply just them taking what Fortnite did, but doing it way worse. Call of Duty is not the only game that has done this, and I don't want to make this just a Call of Duty thing, even though that's the main focus of the video. So many other different game franchises have tried this model with their multiplayer, and in some cases, we've seen it work a little bit, but in other cases, we've seen it fail miserably. In my opinion, there is just no real incentive to make someone just come in and pay for something immediately, and then just go on with life acting as if they did anything meaningful to have paid that amount of money for something like that, which, by the way, they'll completely forget about in a couple of months because the new game is coming out soon. That's just something that I feel is so icky. You are releasing something this close to the next game's launch, and yet once that game comes out, people will probably leave that skin behind and not come back and play Modern Warfare 2. They'll probably focus on Modern Warfare 3 instead. As it is, Call of Duty has seemingly thought that it was okay to completely remove the old Warzone, which, by the way, had everyone else's skins that they had paid money for in those versions, and now just they are completely gone. So basically all that money that was wasted for those who spent it on it and those skins and bundles, it's like, well, you kind of did that to yourself, but also it's really scummy on Activision to take it away from you in the first place. I simply just don't understand why this franchise has gone down that route, and they could just stick to doing their own thing. I've said this before, but I think Fortnite, For as well of a thing that it did for gaming, and I think for a lot of good that it did for the gaming industry, I also think it negatively did a lot of bad in terms of how it affected other franchises in multiplayer gaming in terms of how they've done models for microtransactions and bringing in monetization to their games, which seemingly take the forefront more than the gameplay. Again, Fortnite is a free game, and what you pay for in there in terms of buying the battle pass to get those skins is a little cheaper, although even in that game, I will say they should at least try to do something in there with regards to earning them through challenges or whatever else. In general, I just think the whole microtransaction system over time in gaming has been a little flawed, and nothing has really been perfect, even if something like Black Ops 2, for example, might be the most perfect example of it all, because they were cheap even if you weren't getting them through earning it. I don't expect that anything will really change with the Modern Warfare 3 title that we get when it comes out, especially since we are hearing a lot of rumors that that game is pretty much going to be a carbon copy of Modern Warfare 2, but with maybe a few slightly different things, and of course you have a new developer in Sledgehammer Games. Nothing about anything going on in this franchise really sits well with me right now, and it just sucks because it really does feel like this franchise has turned into a money cash machine that has no scheduled point of stopping anytime soon. I really got nothing more to say in this commentary, but I think you kind of get the gist of what I was going for with what I spoke to. The franchise simply does not feel the same as it once was, and I'm sure some people will probably get mad at me saying like, oh, you're just holding on to nostalgia and all that, but it's the truth. Call of Duty really did have something going for it in a good light, and in the last several years, since even a game like Black Ops 4, it just feels like that soul that the franchise once had has started to lessen more and more with each new title. At this point, I really just am looking forward to Treyarch's next game, because at this point, I can definitely consider that they are the best studio for this franchise, and they are getting a lot of time to work on their new game, which for context is probably going to be the first game since Black Ops 4 that they've had the chance to fully work on without any interruptions. Cold War put a damper on that because they weren't even supposed to make that game in the first place. I hope you all did enjoy this commentary though, and I think this one could definitely breathe for some good conversation down in the comments. So if you could please let me know all your thoughts on this down below, whether it's about the roadmap that we got for Season 4 in Modern Warfare 2, or just in general with my commentary on how I believe that Call of Duty has pretty much turned into a version of Fortnite. On top of that, if you do enjoy this video, be sure to drop a like, as it would really help me get into the algorithm, and subscribe to this channel if you are new here and you want to stick around to see me post more gaming videos. I hope everyone here has a great rest of their days, and I will see you all in the next one. This is Orion, signing out.